The game is over.
Wow.
There is no touchdown.
Whoa.
OPI on number 14.
Break. Heartbreak in Detroit brings happiness here to Chicago. A touchdown that was not a touchdown. The Lions lose, and the Bears are headed to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Dane Placco. Less than 24 hours after an improbable win over the Packers, the Bears are bound for the postseason. And amazingly, the Bears have Aaron Rodgers to thank for that, Tina.
Dane, you just mentioned less than 24 hours ago that win over Green Bay. I haven't slept since then. I can't stop watching the highlights.
I can imagine a lot of Bears fans are saying the same thing.
Yeah, by the way, how ironic is that, right? The guy that says he owns the Bears fans can now thank him for helping them get into the playoffs here. Bears have yet to play their best football, but they are finding ways to win games, Dane. Their sixth fourth-quarter comeback win last night, and they did it against their rivals, the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be one of those, where were you when the Bears beat the Packers 22-16 in OT? Caleb Williams did not have his best game, but he made just enough big plays down the stretch to put his team in a position to win. How about DJ Moore? Back-to-back games where he has come up with huge clutch plays down the stretch, including last night's game-winning touchdown, a 46-yard pass there from Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson believes this team, they are mentally tough.
I don't think I've been around a team that just, when it's this late in games, just they don't bat an eye. You don't feel any despair on the sideline from any of the phases. This group, I'm talking about coaches and players combined, it's rare. It really is. Man, they're mentally tough. They're physically tough. I know we're going to fight you for 60 minutes.
I got the best coach in the world. Let's put it that way. And we have the best coaching staff in the world. And so you put the talent with the coaches and the people that care, you can strive for anything, you can reach anything, you can go after any goal. And when you go out there in that football field, your belief is at an all-time high between players, between coaches, and you have outcomes like this.
I mean, listen, I am inspired by this 2025 Chicago Bears team. And as Dane mentioned earlier, with the Lions losing today, and of course, last night's win against Green Bay, the Bears have officially clinched a playoff berth, first time since the 2020 season, Dane.
So what are the chances the Bears could get a first-round bye, maybe a home playoff game or two?
Yeah, so the Bears do still have a path to the 1 seed and a first-round bye in the NFC playoffs, but it is a little difficult because they'll need to win out against the Niners and the Lions, and they also need help from Seattle. The Seahawks would need to lose to either the Panthers or the 49ers, and if that happens, the Bears will finish with the best overall NFC record. But let's take a look here at the NFC playoff standings, because according to the Athletic Playoff Stimulator, right now, the Bears have a 12% chance to win the 1 seed. If they win out, jumps up to 62%, but let's start with winning the division and hosting a playoff game first. Right now, they have a 92% chance to win the division. The Bears win the NFC North title by winning either of their final 2 games at San Francisco or at home against Detroit. They would also claim the division if the Packers drop one of their final 2 games against Baltimore or Minnesota. Dane, listen, first year with Ben Johnson as their head coach.
Amazing.
He's got this team playing meaningful football in the month of December. And again, if you watch the game against Green Bay last night, they certainly didn't have their best game. But again, Caleb Williams, the team overall, the depth there at the wide receiver core made just enough big plays down the stretch.
And could you imagine a home playoff game at Soldier Field in mid-January?
Oh, my goodness.
Been there before. It's been a long time, but it is fun.
I said this earlier to Lou when I was talking to him. Chicago just shines brighter. It's a little bit different when the Chicago Bears are good.
You can feel it in the air.
Yes.
It's not just Christmas. Thanks, Tina. And how excited are Bears fans, you might be wondering? Well, we caught up with a few of them tonight at First Draft in the South Loop, moments after the Bears locked into the playoffs.
As a Bears fan, been waiting so long, to have something to get excited about. And now, the city's been hungry for this. It's we're ready. Caleb, I mean, just all the team. We're just so fired up for it, man.
Super excited for this to be the year that they're going to make a playoff run, and it's going to be just awesome down here. The environment, the vibe, it's going to be off the chains.
It'll be a fun few weeks indeed. All right, let's take a live look outside on a clear and chilly night here across the Chicago area, but a warming trend is coming that could melt any chances of a white Christmas. Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls in the Weather Center with her first check of the forecast. Emily.
That's right. There's actually a definition for that white Christmas. We have to have 1 inch of snow or more on the ground during Christmas Day for that to be considered a white Christmas. And I just don't think the snowpack that many of us still have in some spots is going to make it, because we have a really big warming trend that's going to take place here over the next couple of days. Your high temperatures today, we ended up topping out in the low to mid 30s for most of the area. That's actually very seasonable for this time of the year. And your temperatures now, they're beginning to drop down into the upper 20s for a lot of us. And that's actually where we're going to find our overnight low temperatures, because after midnight, we're going to start to rise. So it's kind of one of those backwards nights for us. We're going to wake up to temperatures that are going to be right around 30 degrees. The next 12 hours around here, you can see again how that low is going to be set in the next couple of hours. And then by early tomorrow morning, we're going to be waking up to 30. So your outdoor forecast, if you have your usual Monday morning commute to make, here's what you can expect. Skies are going to become mostly cloudy. Now, maybe you're getting a jump start on that holiday travel. And if that's you, this is around the continental United States. So all locations that you see in green for Monday, that means smooth sailing. Not much that's going to be slowing you down on the roads or in the air, but where we are seeing those yellow shadings showing up here, that's where we could have some moderate impacts. And I'll tell you about those coming up. Dane?
Thank you, Emily. A fiery rescue in Oak Brook is caught on camera. Dash cam footage shows the moment officers pulled a man out of his burning car this morning along Route 83. Police say an officer was on patrol when he saw a car traveling at a high rate of speed and without their lights on. That vehicle then rolled over, burst into flames. Officers used fire extinguishers to put out that fire while getting the driver out of the car. The driver and 2 officers were taken to the hospital, all with minor injuries. A man is facing charges after he allegedly set himself on fire on a Blue Line train. This is cell phone video from Friday morning at the Damon and Milwaukee Blue Line stop in Wicker Park. You see what appears to be a burn mark on the platform. Police say 52-year-old Jesus Martinez set himself and his belongings on fire. He was taken to the hospital with a burn on his legs. Martinez has been charged with aggravated arson and criminal damage to government property. Chicago police are looking for a group of teenagers who say badly beat somebody on a CTA bus. They released these images of the 3 suspects. Police say they assaulted the 62-year-old victim on the Cicero Avenue bus along 700 block of South Cicero on Tuesday. They say the victim's injuries are extensive and that person remains in the hospital. Now, if you know anything about the suspects in this picture, please contact CPD. Democrats and some Republicans continue to turn up the heat on the Justice Department tonight over Friday's document dump of files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. They're questioning why only a portion of those files were released and why so many were heavily redacted.
They're flouting the spirit and the letter of the law. It's very troubling, the posture that they've taken. And I won't be satisfied until the survivors are satisfied.
Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie and California Democrat Ro Khanna telling Face the Nation Sunday morning they plan to attempt to hold Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt after only a portion of the Epstein files were released on Friday, many heavily redacted.
There are rich and powerful people. We all know this. There are 1,200 victims. They're rich and powerful people who either engaged in this abuse, covered it up, or were on this island. And what the American people want to know is, who are these people? And instead of holding them accountable, Pam Bondi is breaking the law.
But Deputy Attorney Todd Blanche defended Friday's release, saying there simply wasn't enough time to vet the 1 million pages of Epstein documents in the Justice Department's files.
We're going through a very methodical process with hundreds of lawyers looking at every single document and making sure that victims' names and any of the information from victims is protected and redacted, which is exactly what the Transparency Act expects.
Critics are also questioning why the Justice Department removed 16 Epstein file photos released on Friday, including one showing President Trump. Those pictures have since been put back online. Blanche denying that they're trying to protect the president.
There is nothing that he has to hide in the Epstein files. There never was. And even though there's repeated attempts by Democrats to paint him as being part of the Epstein saga, it's failing over and over again.
This shouldn't be a big document up. There's a pretty simple point. Who raped these young girls? Who covered it up? And why are they getting away with it?
Blanche also saying today the Justice Department will continue releasing the Epstein files after they've been cleared by lawyers to protect the victims. And he said they would not remove any mentions of President Trump in those files. Thousands stand in unity at Bondi Beach, Australia, to commemorate the victims in the mass beach shooting that happened last week, leaving 15 dead. A local rabbi lit a candle at 6:47 p.m. to remember the moment that shots were first ringing out during the attack on the Jewish Hanukkah festival last Saturday. Alleged gunman Navid Akram is one of 13 people still injured and in the hospital after being shot by police. His father, Sajid Akram, was shot dead on the scene by police. The Jewish community in Chicago showing solidarity with Australia tonight. A menorah lighting happening in Lincoln Park to commemorate the final night of Hanukkah. Police there say the lighting is a symbol that light overcomes darkness in the wake of tragedy.
That we will always, always continue to light our menorah and never, ever let our light be extinguished.
There has been added security at Hanukkah events throughout the city since that attack in Australia. The U.S. Coast Guard is in active pursuit of a sanctioned vessel in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. This comes after the Guard apprehended an oil tanker there on Saturday. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted video of that operation yesterday. Tensions, have been running high and escalating between the U.S. and Venezuela as the Trump administration has been conducting strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. A year ago, we introduced you to a local group writing handwritten notes to LGBTQ plus people nationwide for the holidays. Now, 4 years in, we'll show you how that effort has evolved. Stay with us.
Happy holidays from
A year ago, we introduced you to a family in the northwest suburbs writing handwritten cards to reach out to LGBTQ people feeling alone and rejected. Well, this year, the need is growing, and as Terrence Lee shows us how this effort has evolved.
Got a stamp and a...
Oh, yeah. There you go. Thank you, thank you.
They still tell me they love me. I'm just not as, I guess, accepted as I'd like to be.
For some, love comes with fine print. Not always spoken, but always felt.
I still have family in my life.
Reed Thompson is a transgender Army soldier in Virginia. 7 years of service, a lifetime of learning which parts of himself others are willing to see.
It's like kind of walking on eggshells. It's one of the things that everybody's kind of agreed not to talk about.
It's love, but if it feels like conditional love, not unconditional.
Exactly.
Reed says the same caveats followed him into uniform. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court cleared the way for a Defense Department policy that allows transgender service members to be removed. It revives a ban first announced years ago and blocked by courts until now. Supporters say it's all about military readiness and cost, claims disputed by medical and advocacy groups.
For a lot of people that are active duty, this is their full-time job. You know, you can be 15 years in and have 5 to go, and you don't have that anymore, so you got to start over.
What disappears is not just the paycheck. Reed says it's belonging.
When you're there, it's like one big family.
For some who serve, they are still who they've always been. But Colonel Bree Framp says the country simply stopped making room. She is the highest-ranking transgender officer in the U.S. Armed Forces. Like Reed and others, she is on administrative leave without clear footing. Still, information.
Thank you for lifting me up and for offering to lift up so many others who have given to this country.
That gratitude is for the compassion organized without orders. A mission started by one family in Buffalo Grove 4 years ago.
And that first year, we sent about 2,100 cards.
The Pinter Pride Project card campaign matches people across the world through a simple online sign-up.
Last year, we sent more than 50,000 cards.
At Original Bagel in Bialik, Caroline Pinto organized the room with intent. What to say, what to leave out, who those words are for.
Is that there's so many people who have beautiful hearts and want to do something, they just don't know what to do. And when you provide them an opportunity, they jump.
I'll do petty officer first class.
Some show up to teach their kids what care looks like.
We're just trying to let them know that even though the administration may be against them right now, that there are allies everywhere.
Love is love, so we always have told them that, and I think their first Pride Parade, they were 5 or 6, I think, and they've been going ever since, and they love it.
For others, that lesson comes from someone else's table.
I love that my daughter has found a partner, but her partner doesn't have support at home. And so her partner has to hide when they come home for the holidays, and that makes me really sad. So I want to help some other people that might not be able to go home and be their true selves with their families.
For Reed, asking for that kind of care did not come easily.
I didn't know how many cards would be sent overall or how many people could get cards. So if there was someone, I guess, more deserving of a card, I didn't want to take up that spot.
He hit submit anyway, expecting maybe one note.
The days just kept going by, and it's like at least every day I get at least one. Probably my favorite one, this one, it's called a pocket hug, and it says, "This little pocket heart is full of love and hugs, so keep it close and know that you are loved."
No guessing, no reading between the lines.
Love out there is definitely not limited, and there's so much of it to go around, and there's enough of it for you.
Take a look at this muddy eruption at Yellowstone National Park. Footage released by the U.S. Geologic Survey showing mud spraying up out of the Black Diamond Pool Saturday morning. A much larger hydrothermal explosion happened at that same location in July of last year. And Emily, we may not have mud coming out of the sky, but probably some on the ground with this thaw coming this
Yes,
way.
I think we're going to see a lot of mud and a lot of just yuck over the next couple of days because of all of the melting that's taking place. And temperatures later this week are just going to continue to warm up. So the frozen ground that we've gotten used to, it's going to get a little mushy and a little mucky out there. Here's the view right now. We are starting to see increasing cloud cover. That's what we're expecting through the overnight period. Temperatures right now are sitting in the upper 20s. We have south winds around 5 miles per hour. And that's that's enough to bring wind chill temperatures down to about 24 degrees. Now, your temperatures currently are pretty close to where we're going to end up for our overnight lows. So notice the wind direction here. We have southerly winds. That's going to continue throughout the overnight. So it's actually transporting that warmer air from the south to the north. So our lows are going to be set in the next couple of hours, and then we're going to warm up to about 30 degrees by daybreak tomorrow. Notice the increase in cloud cover. Small chance that we could be seeing a little bit of precipitation here or there. This particular model's trying to bring a good chunk of it down into the Chicagoland area. I still think that most, if not all of this, likely ends up staying north of the Wisconsin border. So I'm not overly concerned about chances of rain or snow out there this evening or tonight. Now, tomorrow, we could potentially see a couple isolated rain showers developing, but notice the coverage here is very, very minimal. Most of us are just looking at a mostly cloudy day. Temperatures by midday going to be right around 40 degrees, and then we're going into the low 40s for your highs. And as far as the winds go, it's going to be another gusty day. We'll have south winds gusting as high as 20 to 25 miles per hour. So if you're going to be out and about, just kind of build that into your plans here, because temperatures, yes, they're going to be in the 40s. It's actually going to be feeling more like we're in the mid-30s, though, with that breeze. For tonight, 27 degrees for the overnight low. Again, we are warming to about 30 by daybreak tomorrow. We'll have south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. 5-day forecast tomorrow, 42, 46 degrees, dry skies on Tuesday. Wednesday for Christmas Eve, we have a chance of showers in the afternoon and evening, highs in the 40s. And then on Christmas, we're going to have a wide range of temps from 40s in the north to close to 60 degrees south of I-80, Dane.
60?
Yeah.
This time of year. Thank you, Emily. With Obamacare subsidies about to expire, Congress is going on holiday break. Up next, we'll tell you about the blame game being played in Washington as Democrats and Republicans try to paint the other as the healthcare Scrooge.
Fox Local, your smart.
While millions of Americans will see a big increase in their health care premiums starting January 1st, Congress left town for the year after a deadlock on expiring health care subsidies. Chad Pergram has more from Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers aren't passing out presents at the holidays. They're handing out blame.
Because of Republicans, it is now impossible, sadly, to prevent people from having to pay hundreds, if not thousands, more on their premiums next year. It's going to start January 1st.
The Democrats do not want a solution. They want a campaign talking points.
But Democrats say Republicans abandoned the Capitol for Christmas and New Year's without even voting on a subsidy extension.
House Republicans have chosen to get out of town before sundown. And that's a shame.
Republicans accuse Democratic leaders of not wanting to actually fix the problem and trying instead to seize health care as an issue for the 2026 midterms.
What we have seen is Leader Jeffries withholding his votes from the bipartisan efforts. He actually held his members back.
In their quest to renew Obamacare tax credits, Democrats wouldn't fund the government this fall. Another shutdown deadline looms in late January.
Do you think Democrats would run the same play on health care as they did in the fall as it pertains to government funding? If something isn't worked out, you don't think so?
I don't.
And why is that? Why do you not?
It's a different time frame.
You got it on the agenda. You didn't compel action.
Well, that's true. No, there's a failure.
Lawmakers believe there's a path for a bipartisan compromise in 2026.
They won't extend a program that's fatally flawed. All the money goes to insurance companies. If you want to fight over health care, great. If you want to solve health care, that's even better. I think there's a deal to be had.
4 House GOP moderates sided with Democrats to force a January vote renewing the subsidies. But a House vote does not mean passage, and it still does not guarantee success in the Senate. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
The CDC is reporting that there have been nearly 5 million cases of the flu so far this season. 1,900 people have died, and the flu has sent 49,000 people into the hospital. The latest data found New York City is experiencing some of the highest levels of flu-like activity. Alabama, Colorado, Connecticut, and 9 other states are experiencing moderate respiratory illnesses. All the remaining states are facing low or very low levels. Most of the flu illnesses reported are linked to the new variant subclade K. Olive Garden is set to go nationwide with its lighter menu. The restaurant chain testing smaller portions of its entrees at about 40% of its locations and saw some success, they say. The slimmed down portions will be priced between $12.99 and $13.99. The restaurant says the lighter options will not replace anything that's already on the menu. Olive Garden says the small portion options should be available everywhere in January. Ever hear of a historical marker named after winter? Coming up, we're going to show you one on Chicago's South Side that remembers where a very famous explorer spent a long, cold winter in Chicago.
And if you're hoping for a white Christmas, I don't have good news for you there, but if you're traveling, we are not looking at the same debacle that we had back on Thanksgiving. It's just rain in your forecast this week. Those details coming up.
There are a number of memorials and markers around the Chicago area remembering the famed French explorer Jacques Marquette, who visited here more than 350 years ago. In tonight's Monument Moment, we visit a lonely stone slab on Chicago's south side. It seems appropriate to check out in winter. Standing alone in an industrialized stretch of South Damon Avenue, this monument marks the spot where French missionary and explorer Father Jacques Marquette camped for a cold winter along the south branch of the Chicago River. The bronze plaque and stone decorative border feature Art Deco flourishes. It had once been mounted on a bridge crossing the river that was dedicated in 1930. After the bridge was replaced, the marker moved to its own spot just north of the new Damon Avenue Bridge, where today it stands by itself, surrounded by warehouses and factories. Father Marquette and his party spent the winter of 1674 into 1675 in a makeshift cabin built on the river's edge. After the spring thaw, the explorers were flooded out of their cabin and moved west along the Illinois River. The plaque shows the Jesuit priest meeting with a Native American member of the Illinois tribe. The inscription says Marquette's journal first brought to the world's attention the advantages of soil, climate, and transportation facilities in the Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes Basin. Marquette suffered misfortune after he left this winter encampment. Months later, he died of dysentery along the shores of Lake Michigan while trying to return home. This area has seen numerous memorials to Marquette and his exploring partner, fur trader Louis Joliet, including a wooden cross erected in 1915, later removed for construction of the bridge. The Marquette Winter Monument, remembering a famous explorer's long, cold Chicago residence more than 350 years ago. We've brought you more than 30 Monument Moment stories over the past year, and we're about to hit the road for more, which is why we're asking for your help. Now, if you know of a historical marker, statue, or monument in the Chicago area that you'd like us to highlight, especially the unusual or obscure that don't get a lot of attention, please send us an email at monumentmoment@fox.com, and we will put them on the calendar for 2026. I'd be interested to see the responses we get. I'll bet a lot of interesting ones.
Yeah, you know, those are my favorite stories and my husband's favorite stories.
Well, thank you.
I learn a lot.
I really have fun researching them.
Yeah, I bet. You know, there's a lot of transplants in the Chicago area, right? So it takes things like this for us to really learn the ins and outs. So it's great.
And there's so much hidden history we just don't know about. And that's what I'm hoping people reach out to us to tell us about.
Yeah, send us your ideas. All right, Dane, lots of people on the road this week. A lot of people going to be in the air this week. And
one big one in particular.
Yes.
The guy in the suit.
But you know what? This week is going to be a lot nicer to us than Thanksgiving. Remember Thanksgiving? We had all of the snow moving through. We had cancellations. We had ground stops at our local O'Hare. But for us this week, totally different story. Take a look at this. This is the travel impacts that we're expecting around the continental United States for tomorrow. Not much taking place. So all locations that you see here highlighted in green, that's suggesting that it's going to be nice, smooth sailing. Now, there's two systems that we're keeping a close eye on for Monday. There's going to be one in the upper Great Lakes that's going to be bringing in some snow. There's also going to be one moving on to the shore of the Pacific Northwest. That, too, is going to be bringing in a kind of mix of snow, some rain as well. So for those of you that are traveling to and from those regions, of course, you could be running into some moderate impacts, but it still looks like it's going to be nothing in comparison to what a lot of states were going through around the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, your 5-day forecast, small chance of drizzle tomorrow. Most of us going to get through the day just fine. Slightly better chance of scattered rain showers Wednesday, which of course is Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day. We're looking at least a small chance of some patchy drizzle, but temperatures, that's really going to steal the weather story going into your Christmas, because temps are going to be ranging from the upper 40s into the 50s to near 60 degrees across the far south. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, 42, 46 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have rain returning with a high of 43. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Emily. With Christmas just 4 days away, lots of holiday fun happening around the Chicago area this weekend, including here today at Leo High School, where they held the 9th annual Shy Gives Back Toy Drive. Mayor Brandon Johnson on hand as volunteers distributed 10,000 toys to local community organizations, homeless shelters, and families in need.
We're supporting local families here in Chicagoland. Great opportunity to actually provide some joy this holiday season. Ultimately, we're just really excited to be part of the community.
And they are encouraging people to donate to Chi Gives Back so they can continue to make holidays happier for Chicago's underserved communities. In South Suburban Madison, over 700 kids enjoyed Christmas in the Southland. This is for children in 10 South Suburban communities. There were hundreds of bikes, scooters, televisions, and clothes for families in need.
Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
That is the Mother Macaulay a cappella choir earlier today at Francanello Restaurant in Beverly as Alderman Matt O'Shea hosted his annual 19th Ward Breakfast with Santa. Nearly 40 children from the Mount Greenwood Special Recreation Program, along with their families, invited for a holiday breakfast, cookie decorating, and a visit from Santa, of course.
It's so important that we host events like this to support our special needs population and their families, bringing people together in this wonderful neighborhood we all call home, but supporting an important cause.
They also had a sensory-sensitive floor for children to enjoy the holiday festivities in a more calming atmosphere. Tina.
All right, Dane, I'm Tina Lynn. Next in sports, the Bears in the city of Chicago still buzzing after last night's epic overtime thriller. And the Bears got even better news today. A Lions loss against the Steelers has given the Bears their first playoff berth since 2020. We'll have the highlights and the NFC playoff standings for you next.
Happy holidays.
All right, welcome back. Time now for sports. Well, teams that started 0-2 since the 1970 NFL merger had just a 10% chance to make the playoffs. Since 2020, when the playoff format was expanded, just 5 teams made the playoffs. Make that 6 now after the Bears punched their ticket to the playoffs for the first time since 2020 with a little help from Aaron Rodgers of all people. By the way, before we go to those highlights, take a look at this behind me. I mean, isn't this beautiful? Yeah. Here's how it happened, though, in Detroit. Steelers and Lions, 4th and goal at the Lions' 9. Jared Goff finding Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown pitches it, though, to Goff, who then scores what would have been the game-winning touchdown, all for it to get nullified by an offensive pass interference called on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And since it was an offensive penalty, no replay was allowed. Lions going to lose this one 29-24. I mean, by the way, let's take a look now at the NFC playoff picture. The Bears are the number 2 seed. They still have a shot at the 1 seed and a first-round bye if things break their way in the final 2 weeks here. If the playoffs started today, the Bears would host the Packers at Soldier Field. Once again, you're seeing the ending there to the Lions and Steelers game. Bears, by the way, can clinch the NFC North by winning either of their final 2 games between the Niners or the Lions. So their magic number is 1, or if the Packers lose one of their final 2 games. Packers, by the way, play the Ravens and Vikings to close out the regular season.
This is a game that people are not going to forget. Like this game forever. Every Bears fan is going to have a story about where they were. There's going to be 200,000 people who were at Soldier Field. Everyone's going to tell you that they were there, that they had a ticket, all of that stuff. It was an epic comeback. It was all the things that you hope to have happen.
And then you go in the locker room, you talk to so many of these players, right? Everybody believes in themselves that they can be the guy that makes a game-changing play. So, I mean, it kind of feels like it.
Our photographer, our cameraman, caught Caleb running around the field, shaking hands with all the fans. How can he look so bad, so pedestrian for most of the game, and then after the onside kick, he looks like Superman?
He lives for those moments. I mean, he talks about it. You see him on the sidelines before that. He's smiling. He's calm. He's feeling good. Like, there's no concern for Caleb Williams. He's ready to go out there and act like a stone-cold killer. He's ready to put that ball in the air, put his hands in his pocket, and say, this game's over. I did it. And that's just Caleb Williams to the core. This guy is built for those moments. That's something you can't develop.
All right, the Bears conversation continues. The CST lineup tonight. Lou and I are joined by 670 The Score's Lawrence Holmes and Chris Emma. We're all still riding pretty high from last night's Bears win against the Green Bay Packers. We're even more pumped now that the Bears are officially in the postseason. This is coming up right after the news here at 9. All right, more good news in the city of Chicago. The White Sox signed 25-year-old Japanese slugger Munetaka Murakami to a 2-year, $34 million deal. Murakami won back-to-back MVPs in 2021 and 22, and he helped lead Japan to a gold medal in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Murakami has hit 265 career home runs, but he's coming off of an oblique injury where he played in just 56 games. He will wear the number 5, as the White Sox are, by the way, set to introduce him tomorrow morning. NBA action, Bulls in Atlanta going for 3 straight wins. Late in the 4th quarter, Kobe White takes over here, knocks down a triple. Bulls up 8. Then with 2.5 to go, it's Kobe White once again, spins here, drives in the slam. White finished with 22 points, and the Bulls go on to win 152-150. That's 3 straight now for Chicago. UIC loses to Charlotte in overtime 88-76. Former Cub Wilson Contreras is headed to Boston after a trade with the Cardinals. We're back with more after this break.
Well, you have another chance to win a serious amount of cash. Tomorrow is the drawing for the $1.6 billion Powerball jackpot. The prize getting even bigger after nobody won last night. This is the fourth largest jackpot in Powerball history. If you win and take the lump sum, you will take home about $735 million. That's before taxes. The chance of winning, though, we always have to tell you this, and it's always the downer at the end, 1 in 292 million. I think a lot better chances for some nice warm weather as we approach the holidays here.
Yeah, that's right. We are warming things up in a pretty big way, so you've got a better shot at that than winning the lottery, unfortunately. Your high temperatures today, we ended up topping out in the low to mid 30s for a lot of us, and this is pretty close to average. We made it to 33 at O'Hare. 36 in Gary, that was one of our warmer spots. 29 out in DeKalb, so a little bit cooler there. 30 in Woodstock, 31 in Waukegan, and 34 in Kankakee. Same thing in Rensselaer and Merrillville. Here's where we stand right now. Temperatures, we've only dropped just a few degrees, so many of us now are sitting in the upper 20s to near 30 degrees. We're actually going to set our low temperature for the night probably within the next few hours. A lot of us are going to be in the mid to upper 20s for our overnight low. Notice the wind direction. We have south winds that's bringing in this milder air mass. So our temperatures, especially after midnight, when we start to gain a little bit more in the way of cloud cover too, our temperatures are going to be rising going into early tomorrow morning. So when a lot of us are waking up to start our Monday morning, temperatures by that point should already be right around 30. We're warming up to the low 40s, mid 40s by Tuesday. Wednesday for Christmas Eve, we're in the low 40s. And then on Thursday, that 49 degrees, that's for O'Hare. But for those of you that are near and south of I-80, there's a pretty decent shot that you're going to be well into the 50s, if not coming close to 60 degrees. And then that warm air is going to spread across the majority of the area going into our Friday. So it's going to be very, very mild. I did check the records, though, and the record high temperature at O'Hare for Thursday, which of course is Christmas Day, is 64 degrees. So I don't think we're going to set that record at O'Hare. But again, for those of you in the far south suburbs, you're probably going to be pretty close to 60. And the warmth, it's sticking around too. So this is your temperature outlook from the 27th, taking us all the way through the end of the year, the 31st. And we're strongly favored to see those above average conditions continuing. And even the first week of January is trending like we're going to be above average. So your satellite and radar, things are fairly quiet for now. We do have a system that's trying to bring in some snow that's farther off to our west. Very, very small chance for snowflakes or even a couple rain showers out there tonight. Most areas likely end up staying dry. The majority, if not all of this, is probably going to be staying off to our north. And then through the day tomorrow, small chance for a couple areas of patchy drizzle, but for the most part, I think we're mainly staying dry. Another frontal boundary is going to come through going into your Tuesday. We'll wake up to cloud cover and then end up seeing some sunshine by the end of the day. For tonight, 27, we'll have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, 7-day forecast.
As we gear up for Christmas, the Lynwood Police Department is making the holiday brighter for one little boy. Last year, in the midst of a health battle, he was sworn in as an honorary junior police officer. This season, he's facing a new challenge, though. Casey Cronus has that story from Lynwood.
A few months ago, that little boy suddenly lost his dad. Now the village of Lynwood is stepping up to show him he is not alone.
All right, keep on.
At just 8 years old, Kiwan Andrewen has been through more than most go through in a lifetime. He's fought through dozens of surgeries and procedures for a rare heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. But now he's facing a new challenge after his dad, Dewan, died unexpectedly in the fall.
One thing about us, when we adopt you as family, you are with us for a lifetime. And they're great. They come out to everything. They feel very connected. And we want them to know that in spite of the loss, they are loved.
Lynwood Mayor Jada Curry and Police Chief Gregory Thomas invited Kiwan, his mom, siblings, and cousins to Village Hall, where Santa was waiting with tons of presents to brighten his spirits.
We've adopted him around here, so he's all of our little brother, our little nephew, so he's always welcome, him and his family. It's our job to continue to be that inspiration to them.
Former NBA players like Bobby Simmons and LaRue Martin also took part in the magic.
It's all about giving. You know, if I was still playing in the NBA, we'll still be with families. We do a lot of giving back, you know, just supporting the communities.
The surprise left him nearly speechless.
What are you most happy about today? Passing out gifts.
Last year, Kiwan's dream came true when he was sworn in as a junior police officer. Since then, he's formed a bond with members of the department who are now stepping up to lend a hand following the family's heartbreaking loss. Kiwan is also spreading holiday cheer, delivering presents to more than 20 homes as part of the village's annual toy drive.
Them being able to allow him to be a part of everything here, to give out gifts, even just regular community events to recognize, it just means so much from the bottom of my heart.
This marked the village of Lynwood's 5th annual holiday toy drive. Reporting in Lynwood, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
All right, some breaking news we want to show you right now. This is 650 North Pine Avenue in the Austin neighborhood where a fire has broken out. Looks like a residential street right there. You see Chicago fire crews pouring water on the scene. We're looking for more information as, looks like they're about to hold a news conference. We'll bring that information to you a little bit later in the show. We'll be back right after this break.
Make the most of your season during the
A quintessential New York City moment taking over the internet. 2 rats spotted on a subway. Those tracks battling over a bagel. They were, you can see, really going at it too, tugging back and forth for a few minutes. At one point, another rodent sneaks in, takes a bite. As they continue to fight over the food, the bagel makes its way towards the bottom of the platform, and a 4th rat battling for scraps. The winning rat remains a mystery. That might be big in New York, but I still think our Chicago rat hole tops that.
That, and I think our rats are much larger.
They are.
Yeah.
I saw one just the other day.
They're very healthy.
Right.
Yes. All right. Let's get. Oh, we don't have time for weather. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for. It's going to be warm.
Oh, we do. We do have time. All right. Look at us. Low 40s tomorrow. Small chance for drizzle. And then over the holiday, we're going to be very warm. Dane?
Thank you for joining us tonight. Good Day Chicago starts tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. Have a great night.
Hold on to every memory.